So just to explain where we are at the moment with striking. We have described a lot of different strikes in the previous presentations. We have a number of games, drills and activities designed for striking. But this is for the coaches to understand what their role is in it. So first of all, how do we know if a player is a good striker? Maybe 4 or 5 things. First of all, he's got the correct grip. He can perform a full swing and a half swing on the left and right. He's able to get himself into the correct body shape, and he can strike in match situations, including emergency shots. So we could have an awful lot of different strikes. Striking from a standing position, striking on the run, right and left, striking by running across the field, running away from goal. But what we want to see is, are we seeing these shapes? Are we seeing the high hands at the start? Because if we are, then there's a great chance the boy is swinging the hurley. Are we seeing it off right and are we seeing it off left? And that'll give us a picture about the quality of our players. So the first thing is we want all our players to have their stroke of preference, which is the full swing. And here's just some video clips on the full swing. Of course, we have to go to Tony with his footwork. Even when he's in tricky situations, he's able to get into the body position, lean into the shot, step onto the front foot, skip those feet, high hurley at the start, high hurley at the finish, full alignment, weight transferring through the body. Colm Galvin also takes the ball in his hand, side straddles his feet and scores the point. So that's what we're looking for when we talk about the stroke of preference. The running stroke of preference, here's Tony running against Dublin. Run, turn, skip, strikes with power, speed and accuracy into the corner. These are all examples. Sometimes I think as coaches we don't realise that players do get into free positions in matches, and there is time and there is space, and the great ones are able to use that time and space to get their stroke of preference. So Tony gets a score from between his own 45 and his 65. On tough days when you're hitting wides, you've got to rely on technique. Tony got one there from just outside the 20-metre line and the last clip. And here's Conor Cleary, there's a lightness to the way he's striking. Like a leaf, loose like a leaf. And it's probably a good statement as well. Peter Fitzpatrick reminded me of that there recently. So again, there's different reasons for it. To be able to strike the ball long if you see a free opponent or a free teammate. Here's Tony striking the ball across the field from one end to the other, sticks it into Podge Collins' hand. So will our players be able to strike the ball 70 yards to a teammate? Will they be able to do it off their right? Will they be able to do it off their left? And then for the next one, when they have the half swing, will they be able to strike the ball 30 yards to their teammate? Will they be able to do it right? And will they be able to do it left? So they will need their full swing for the long strike, and they will need the half swing for the short strike. Not everybody has these swings. We know that even on current county teams, some players favour one side over another. So the half swing doesn't maybe take a lot of coaching, but takes a lot of repetition, takes a lot of confidence to be able to really pinpoint that ball, because very often it's a high risk situation and the accuracy is really needed in this shot because a lot can go wrong. So here we have David Fitzgerald strikes the ball to Tony, Tony strikes the ball to Diarmuid Ryan, Diarmuid Ryan strikes out to Colm Galvin. We've seen this point already. Again, David McInerney, half swing, ball on the ground for a touch, sets up an attack. Again, Conor Cleary to Colm Galvin, half swing, sets up an attack. The big one then is the emergency shots. A range of shots to be able to deal with different situations, emergencies really. And the players need to be able to contort their body shape. Hurling, as we know, and there's a lot of talk about it at the moment, the amount of rucks, the amount of mauls, the lack of space. So sometimes, like the Clare-Galway match, there's lots of space. Other times, things are very tight, particularly around the middle third. And in order to get a score, players might have very little time or space. Here we have the start of the All-Ireland final. Tom Morrissey, using an emergency stroke, gets the ball over the bar. John Conlon, playing at the full forward line, moves away from goal and is able to strike the ball over the bar on the turn or on the swivel. The simplification of this is that we don't want to name 20 different shots because some of them fall into different categories. So we just want our coaches to understand the full swing, which is the stroke of preference. The half swing, which is for points from close to goal like Peter Duggan does here, or for passing. And then the emergency stroke, which is normally dictated to by the opponent. It's normally the opponent that dictates the options that are available to you. But also, and if you look at Tony here, sandwiched between the sideline and a Cork defender, able to get his shot away off his left. Very, very little space available to him. And that's what the great ones can do. Not everybody will be able to do it, but I think as coaches, are we able to identify what skills in striking the players have, what skills in striking the players are short of, and will we be able to help them through their time. Some great scores here still, John Conlon and so on. Just wanted to have a look at a match. Flannans versus Clare, under 15s, January 2020. We're going to play 40 seconds of this clip, right? And it is slowed down. I wanted us to see, if you can, the opportunities to strike, which maybe weren't taken. And I just have to ask the question, is the 15-a-side match with full rules going to help us? I don't believe it is. This is where we need conditioned games, modified games, taking away options from players like hand passing, like soloing, and smaller sided games, giving greater opportunities to players to experience striking success within a game, experience their stroke of choice, experience with the full swing, experience their half swing, and also experiencing emergency shots. And as they get older, then they will need to be challenged to have greater emergency shots. The unfortunate thing for a lot of players is that the emergency shot is their stroke of choice. They have never been taught it. There is a fear factor among players. There's a panic. Players tend to panic, and this might have been fed into them by coaches at different levels. So we've got to try and take the panic out of players, and we do that by having a lot of unopposed practices. We have 3 different wall videos done. So the under 14 priorities is to coach all players on the full swing on right and left sides through unopposed skill practice and on the pitch and the wall, basic level drills and modified or overloaded games that encourage the full swing and the strike of preference. And at the end of the year, we'd like our coaches to be able to look at the players and say, we know how many of our players are able to have the full swing on their right, and we know how many players have the full swing on their left. At under 15 then, the priority is to continue with the full swing, but also to spend a lot of time on the half swing and strike passing especially. It's done through unopposed skill repetition on the pitch and on the ball wall, intermediate level activities where there is a balance between the desired outcome and the level of challenge, possession and scoring games, scenarios based coaching, etc. At under 16 we expect that there will be a far more challenge. So players will have opportunities to use the full and half swings plus emergency shots through unopposed skill repetition on the pitch and ball wall, advanced level activities where players are challenged to a high level of speed, power and accuracy in striking, games based coaching, scenarios based coaching, and incorporating striking and tackling activities. Finally, we'll have a look at Mark Rogers, a product of Scariff, a product of his school, a product of the development squad, scoring today. And anybody who can score a point in inter-county senior hurling is a good hurler. Thank you very much.